in Westminster. Now, Alison, it's called the King's Speech, but really it's the government's political agenda, isn't it? So were there any surprises in it?
Well, no big surprises. It's basically the Labour manifesto turned into actions and promises. The first King's Speech for a Labour government in more than 14 years. Well, the sunshine sped things along. It meant a nice backdrop for all that pageantry. We can see here King Charles and Queen Camilla in the royal coach, all the gold colour and splendour, and of course then he's giving the King's Speech, but it was the Birmingham Ladywood MP Shabana Mahmood who hands in the speech to read. She's now of course elected or chosen as Lord Chancellor Justice Secretary, so a bit of pageantry for Shabana Mahmood. Others there listening to all the employment rules particularly read out. The employment bill will ban 0 hours contract. It'll make it easier for people to get employment rights in the workplace. But we've been speaking to an entrepreneur in the West Midlands who said it's not just about the state looking ahead to growing the economy, employing young people. Let's hear this report connected to Steve Rigby.
It feels like a dream come true.
Over 160 miles away in the House of Lords, the King was confirming the new government's ambitions for a changed UK and an improved economy.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm going to wake up and be back where I used to be like 4 or 5 years ago.
But here in Stoke-on-Trent, Mark was reflecting on the transformation in his own life and finances since training for his job at an app development company. Until then, he was on a series of 0 hours contracts.
I could never find the right training programs or kind of the junior level jobs. Often a lot of jobs would be like junior level, but you need to have like a university degree. You know, I didn't finish college.
Victoria Brown is from Generation UK, the charity that runs the course Mark eventually found. They operate intensive skills boot camps to get people into work in growing sectors.
We see huge amounts of untapped potential, particularly in young people, but they just need to get their foot through the door with that first job. And there's a real opportunity, particularly in the West Midlands, with the huge growth in the tech sector, to do that.
Steve Rigby is chair of Stratford-upon-Avon-based tech business Rigby Group. Through its charitable foundation, it's funding Generation UK to train young people from across the region. Steve thinks businesses of all sizes should be doing their bit.
Whether you're 9,000 people or you're 10 people, I think everyone can do something. In that regard, it may be work experience rather than work placement. If you're a smaller organisation, whatever size organisation you are, there's a role to play.
I can't wait to see what I'll be doing in 2, 3, 4 years.
The government today promised to improve the lives of working people. The signal they've succeeded might be that more people start feeling like Mark does about the future. Hannah Kings, ITV News.
Alison, tell us more about the plans then for renationalising the railway.
Well, yes, Sir Keir had mentioned this in the run-up to the King's Speech. The idea is to put right what they say are failing rail companies who are letting down their passengers. We know of the issues affecting Avanti trains, don't we? Suggestions that they're not quite up to standard. So the plan now is to renationalise the railways once the private contracts have expired. They're not going to move in just yet because that might involve compensation, but that may be welcomed by some that says renationalise it, bring it back into public control, a promise they say they will fulfil.
OK, and Alison, we also learned today that the ballot of workers at Amazon's Coventry site had narrowly failed to vote for union recognition at the warehouse. But there were developments on that too, weren't there, in the King's Speech?
Well, yes, very much the working plan, the plans to take forward employment rights and rulings. Amazon, we know, 28 votes short in that ballot there at the Coventry plant. We know there's been strike action in the past, but under current rules, the company doesn't have to recognise a union because not enough voted in favour. That is now suggested to change because the Labour government wants to make it, I won't say easier, but certainly simplify and make it more available to workers to have union recognition, change some of the rules. Amazon insisting tonight they always listen to their workers. They look carefully at paying them the correct amount of money, but it may be welcomed by some that union recognition in businesses across the Midlands is now a certainty according to this King's Speech.
Alison in Westminster for us, thank you very much.